Yo, Markcraft86. Back with another one, youtube.com. And today I'll be talking podcast style off the top of the dome. Again, no edits. Limited filters. And we're back on the series that I started since Charlie Kirk got assassinated, rest in peace, and then I started this series. Going to build a church over here. And what happened was you seen a very real, violent political assassination, ending of someone's life. And you also seen a very real reaction from real people, kind of dancing with glee about it. And I can't forget that, just like I can't forget that horrific scene of seeing him getting shot and bleeding out and slumping over. And people trying to do damage control now, but it's kind of done. The people were caught, you know. So that's what I want to focus on, that very real reaction, because what happened was it's quickly devolved into freedom of speech. Jimmy Kimmel, we're all arguing about should Jimmy Kimmel lose his job, right? Meanwhile, 650 million to you-know-who. They published this Jeremy Epstein birthday book. Alright, have you seen that one? I haven't even had the stomach to look at it yet. And related what? While we're talking about if Jimmy Kimmel should lose his little job, they vote an official no on releasing the Jeremy Epstein files. So it's like, you know, what's really going on, right? What's going on there, chicken? Yeah, guys, what is going on? So, but I don't want to focus on any of that right now. What I want to focus on is something positive. Okay. So because there was a very real reaction that I felt was an honest reaction, where people have just been believing the news, the TV, and you know, they think people that don't agree with them are Hitler and Nazis and stuff, right? So violence is okay against Nazis. So that's why we got to be responsible with the language. But anyway, you see insane violence, a widow out of nowhere. And then people showing their morals or lack thereof, okay? And since I don't need to go over it, but just briefly, we're talking people who are like, you know, why'd you stop at Charlie? You know, they're kind of like, you were right there, you should have taken out the wife and the kids too, because they're going to grow up to be racist just like Charlie and everything, right? It's like, holy. You got the cojones for those kind of takes? It's like, if you're going to be flinging around those kind of takes, you know, you better be right. You know, you better be able to articulate how these people are acting Nazi-ish and Hitler. And you know what? I would argue that. What the heck is that? Set. Never mind. I'd argue that the dehumanization that you've seen a lot of people way too comfortable doing. I don't want to start throwing around, but it is Nazi-esque. Alright, that's what the Nazis did, was they dehumanized the Jewish people so that they could round them up, do all that. But anyway, I'm not going to start calling people on the left Nazis. That would be stupid. That would be trying to get people to pull out guns, because that's what you do when you talk about Hitler and Nazis. But anyway, you've seen that disgusting reaction, and it was very real. And this is what I'm getting at. People seeing that who are like on that side politically, you know, or maybe they're not even that political, but they're just kind of with the progressive stuff, you know. They're nice people, they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so they're kind of down with all the progressive stuff. And they didn't really think much into it, maybe. But this showed a side where people are not comfortable, and maybe they don't see where the thinking leads, but they can feel it, man. They don't want to be around people like that. So this is what I'm getting at. I've seen a lot of videos, or you know, someone maybe making a video on YouTube where they're like, hey, check out these 3 people where they came to their senses, and you know, just like you, they don't want anyone murdered. They want open debate, they want open discussion. You know, they were disgusted by what happened to Charlie Kirk. But they might have identified as Democrats or liberals in Canada, right? Anyway, I'm not talking about, oh yeah, sides and this and that. I'm just talking about they've recognized that they can't do that anymore. And good for them. So they've done what I think a lot of people will do. They left the left, alright? Packed up their bags and they got out of there. And I can't blame them. Now, I'm not saying go to the right, and like I keep saying, I'm not of the left or the right. And if I have any critiques of my last few videos, it might be sometimes I come off a little holier than thou, you know. I'm not left or right, guys, like I'm above it all or something, right? That's not really true. It's just it might come off like that sometimes. So I'm not saying the lefties should go to the right or anything like that, because like I say, I can sit here and I can make fun of MAGA all day long. I could. I just don't, because the news does all day. And I know that whether you're right or left politically, or not even that political, it doesn't matter. I know that the majority of people are good people, meaning well-intentioned. But it's just, there happens to be some people on the far left, and it gets crazy and radical, and they take it a bit serious, and they start yelling about Hitler and Nazis and pronouns, and they get really into the gender identity politics, which is the gender and all this, and you know, it gets a little crazy. And then just like on the other side, it gets a little crazy with the Donald, okay, who's like, he should just be like a remember, he just used to be a reality TV star or whatever, You're Fired, and whatever else he did. I forget what else he did. He just, well, check out this Jeffrey Epstein birthday book, and okay, I don't think he was up to good stuff, but anyway. Anyway, so the whole reason for bringing up that is I'm just saying these people who are kind of coming to their senses, and they left the left already. You know, you don't have to go to the right. Okay, it's not like, oh, I'm leaving the left because they're crazy and psychotic, you know, now I gotta buy a pickup truck and get a fishing rod, and now it's all about Trump, I'll tell you what, you know, and now Trump's God and Trump's daddy and he can do no wrong, and yeah, no, none of that. Oh, give me that. And so yeah, I don't know where these people are gonna go. I hope I guess they're gonna go inward, you know. Maybe they're gonna go inward and check, see what's going on, see what you know, ask the questions they need to ask. You know, why did it take me so long to see that way? You know, and I don't blame them. But this is, I guess, the next thing I want to talk about. Is sort of the left ideology that you've seen, or the identity politics, the Marxist brainwashing sort of thing they got going on, the woke ideology, right? This is just where it leads. It's just identity politics, so the straight white man, he's on top and he's the worst. and then just the women are under him, and then the colored women are under her, and then the gay colored women are under her, and it's just like a big competition about who's the most oppressed and what we can do to fix it. And it doesn't matter if it's racist policies, it's just like we got to fix it. And I don't know, just nothing else seems to be, it just seems to be captured is what it is, because it's like, oh, we're going to talk about gender all day and climate change, and it's like, well, I guess. But yeah, and this is what I think happened is that's what they did. They wanted to talk about gender and skin color and this all day, and then the adults and stuff. Like, I don't want to, and we didn't, and no one really interrupted people doing the whole left identity politics thing, right? The transgenderism, the pushing it 24/7, because it's just kind of like, yeah, you guys do you. We can't really stop it. It's obviously corporate backed, and it's right, funded really well, and so therefore like fake, not organic. So yeah, just never really wanted to interrupt it, you know? Couldn't. Kind of recognize, you know, just leave these guys be kind of thing, right? Just try not to get fired, try not to get canceled. Hopefully you didn't have a homophobic joke 10 years ago on social media, because they'll find it and cancel you, right? And now they're crying about anyway, we're not going to get into that. I don't want to fuel the culture war stuff. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah, what else am I getting at here? I don't know, but it sounds, when I say, oh, I'm not left or right, it sounds like I'm better than it, and that's not what it is, so might as well address that, because I forgot what I was going to say, but that's the thing, guys, it all connects, it always connects, like, but anyway, last video is kind of like, ooh, man, a little dangerous, what's under this, I don't know, it's like, not left, not right, and I was thinking, man, you sound a little pretentious, Mark Craft 86. Sounded like you're better than people just because, you know, you don't operate in this left-right paradigm, almost like everyone else is tricked, but I'm not tricked or something like that, right? That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is RonPaul.com. The sort of philosophies I'm following is sometimes you take left positions, sometimes you take right positions. It's like if, you know, everyone on the left isn't the same, just like everyone on the right isn't the same. So everyone in the middle is not going to be the same, you know. But anyway, what I'm getting at, I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. What I'm getting at here is you got the left and the right, and then it's kind of like you got up and down, you know. And up and down could be rich versus poor, up and down could be the elites versus the people, or up and down could be statism versus, you know, individual liberty, I guess, individuality, personal freedom. So we're thinking like the hive mind, right? It's like we're all kind of thinking like the hive mind, and it's like how the mobs work, you know. It's like when I say mobs, I don't mean mobs as in like the mafia. I mean like mobs of humans. Anywhere. You get us together in groups, and it's like even bad ideas can kind of take hold, you know. So that's why there's like, you know, there is a thing where, what's it called? It's not Stockholm syndrome, but you're out in public and there might even be like a crime going on and you don't intervene, you know. That's like a common thing. And that's kind of like, man, you got that hive mind thing going on, right? Maybe you think someone else will do it, right? But, and I'm kind of trying to not to get specific with the examples, because it's usually pretty horrific what's going on. You can kind of imagine. But that's, I'm just kind of, I guess, trying to use that as an example. I'm farming some trees here, guys, okay? I'm trying to get some materials for this church farm here, okay? But, do I need a shovel? Here we go. But yeah, anyway, I'm just using it as an example of we can get into this sort of hive mind mentality. We're on the left, we all think the same. We're on the right, we all kind of think the same. We're a little bit different, but I don't know. But this is kind of my point, is that it can kind of get hijacked. And then you sort of start noticing everyone's kind of sounding the same. You kind of wonder what that's about. And then you kind of notice that, I don't know, only a couple companies own all the media organizations. So it's just kind of like, when they want people debating on something, they can kind of get it going. And if they don't really want you thinking about something or talking about something, they can kind of get it going. And to bring it back to the start of this video, when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, we should have all just been like, wow, that is horrible. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And be moving on. Not moving on, sorry. You have your visuals and all of this. I mean, it's like, I'm still, you know, scarred. Is that the right word? Traumatized? I don't know. It was, you know, it was crazy. I don't really like seeing things like that. I'm the kind of guy who, like, when I was younger, I might have been able to watch stuff like that makes you squirm or cringe or something like that. But now, when I flip open the phone and I see, like, the guy skateboarding, and he's about, you know, you don't know if he's gonna land a sick trick, you know, or a sweet ollie, or if he's gonna like nut himself on the railing, and it's like I flip it off, all right? I flip it over, I flip it on, I flip through, I flip left right away or right, or whichever one is no. I flip no, all right, because I don't want to see that. So I'll not even see the ollie, just so I can, or the triple sow cow, just so I can, you know, risk not seeing something I don't want to see. So anyway, I don't want to see that crazy shit, and it's traumatizing, to be honest with you. And the reaction, I mean, I'm still shocked here, boys. I mean, I'm still shocked here, boys, and that's just how it's gonna be. But this is one thing I did want to focus on. You guys like my helmet? The reactions that happened right when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, they were real, and I'll never forget them. Now there's a lot of people trolling, you know. It's like, now a week later, people might have a visual. Actually, they had one in Calgary in Canada, and yeah, when everybody left, they trashed it, you know. And a week later, that's like, okay, that could be trolling, that could be, you know, the media here, we're fanning the flames of the culture war. I think they'd like us to be arguing. So now it's like, you don't know who people just want to get, say F you to Charlie Kirk fans, because now it's like a race thing, you know? It's like a gun thing, it's like a race thing, it's like a trans thing. I mean, they can use any angle here to just like divide us and get us arguing. Especially in a low IQ population culture where we don't read things for ourselves. We just kind of like, you know, what would the wife say about it? Oh yeah, the wife says Charlie Kirk's a Nazi. Yeah. What do you think about Charlie Kirk? Oh, the wife says, you know, he was a gun guy, and, you know, he said some things about guns to probably piss off low IQ people who just don't like guns. And I don't really like guns either, but I got some arguments. But, you know, you're talking to a bunch of people just captured by the media. It's just, by now it's just regular life. Like, people captured by the media don't even know they're captured by the media, you know what I mean? It's just like regular life by now. It's like ingrained into this stuff, right? So, moving on from that, I think that Charlie Kirk, he didn't mean to, he didn't want to. It shouldn't have happened. He shouldn't have died. He shouldn't have got shot on that day, but he has started a movement. And this movement is organic, so I don't think it's going away. It's not stopping. I think it's going to be here for decades. That's just my humble prediction. I haven't seen so much attention like get put on one event, you know? I haven't seen so many people who don't even mess with politics are making videos on it, commenting on it, you know? It's like, and then it's kind of like all the people celebrating. When you see 10 cockroach, you know there's like 1,000 more on the walls, right? So, and when you're anonymous on Twitter and you can like write a horrific tweet, that's one thing. And they had hundreds of thousands of likes, or tens of thousands, you know, tens of thousands of likes of mocking Charlie and his death and calling for more violence, like his wife, his kids, Trump. So, yeah, that's what I think is going on. Is people on the left are like, wow, Charlie Kirk was a debater. He went to anyone. He'd talk to anyone about anything, and he always treated people with respect. And now people are watching the full clips, and every time he talks to a human who happens to be trans, he's so respectful, or a human who happens to have darker skin, he's so respectful. And I think the truth will come out. But unfortunately, we live in a low IQ culture. They know that. They take advantage of that, and they get us by emotion. You know, they got us by emotion. So now it's like a big shit slinging fest from each side, right? The right's now canceling the left, and the left is just, but you guys love free speech, and you know, it's just kicking and screaming, any excuse to have it not have it happen. And my perspective is, any hate speech laws that they pass, you know, today, September of 2025, or late 2025, or even early 2026, any laws they pass because of this to crack down on hate speech and everything, can and will be used against you in a court of law at a later date. Maybe when another party's in there, it could be a whole nother issue. So you got to be careful when you start giving the government more power. All right, but I feel like I'm talking to a wall on that one. What else we got? I mean, I could go on. This was a crazy week, guys. Like I said, listening to the people's reactions, seeing people horrified, seeing how blatant some people are about running through a vigil, trashing it. The one that got me was calling for more violence, but you know what, guys? I get it, okay? You hear some of these, ooh, the trees grew, guys. You hear some of these more insane takes that Charlie had, you know, which some of these quotes might be, he's being a little hyperbolic. You're trying to get attention and everything. And here's another thing, it's like, if he had these quotes, you know, he's debating for hours and hours, he's probably said so many good things too that kind of unites us, right? Or we unite white and black people. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't gone through all this stuff, but I've gone through sort of enough, and I've listened to enough people who, you know, were fans of him, friends with him, who knew him, and I've seen enough footage where it's like, yeah, this guy was respectful. He asked the crowd to be respectful when, like, you know, trans people were coming up there, and nothing wrong with that. What I mean by that is just like, you know, they just, I guess you're coming into a bit of a conservative atmosphere, because like most of Charlie Kirk's fans would be there. So, but he's just making sure, like, hey, don't make fun of this lady here. Like, let her speak. We want to see what she's got to say, kind of thing, right? And so I think there's going to be a lot of that, where people are like, wow, I really jumped the gun and said some shit. And now that I sort of take a look back, and if I were to look into it myself, you know, might see it a different way. And I don't know, the next thing that pops in my head off of that is like, yeah, man, lady. Most people aren't political. I get it. Most people don't got time. I get it. Raising the kids, working all this. Like, how could you? I almost think it's kind of want to get on purpose. How much of it is organic? How much of it is on purpose? I'm not one of those everything's a conspiracy type guys, you know. Not everything can be a little conspiracy, you know. You know, it's funny. It's like, well, it's actually not funny. But Charlie Kirk got shot, assassinated, and then it's like, oh, this guy Tyler Robinson, he's like, they're arguing, is he left or right? Left or right? I don't know, left or right. And that's why Kimmel got fired, because everyone knew that he was like left, but Kimmel was still playing the game, alright? That's crazy. But they're all like, is he left or right? Well, he's got like a furry trans boyfriend or girlfriend at home, and I don't know, a lot of these, it seems like a lot of these killers, I watch a lot, never mind, right? So there's a lot of these killers and stuff, these school shooters, these crazy, these guys, I don't even know if I don't want to get into that. But I think I'm gonna end this video soon. But we're just I don't know. I'm just randomly getting on the record with some things that are coming coming to the dome, basically. Letting her flow, letting her fly, but I don't know. That's another thing. My last video, I was proud of it. I made some really good points. You know, like Charlie Kirk was really nice about all this stuff. And now it's kind of like, the people coming up, they're not going to be too polite about it. And that is kind of true. And that is true. But I do think that, you know, we kind of play our roles, you know, so some people should be nice about it. I kind of think people should just be who they are. And I think for me, I'm almost trying to fight the urge to, like, not be polite about it and just like let the more spicy language fly. But or not even the more spicy language, like it's not about swearing, it's just about like there's just some provocative things you can say. I mean, Charlie Kirk was kind of doing it, you know? You say these things to like sort of get attention to like these kind of topics, you know, and Charlie Kirk, ultimately his goals for like the things he wanted to let everyone know about was like limited government, free speech, and what was the other one? I can't remember. There was another one. There was three things. Two of them was limited government and free speech, and it was like, I'm sure he talked about those all the time, but a lot of the clips and a lot of the, like, you know, the shorts going viral and everything, it's like, yeah, you're talking about the kind of social issues, like abortion and the gender constructs and the pronouns and the corporations and the billionaires pumping money into getting us to talk about being gay and LGBT all day. And then Charlie's like arguing with these people and like getting viral and getting attention, you know? So I can kind of see how he upset a lot of people is what I'm getting at. But when you take a step back and when you look at it, when you look at things with your own eyes, when you don't speak on things that you don't know of, you know? When you don't just blindly accept anybody's take on it, including mine, you know? I don't know, I think we're gonna see, if the people actually do kind of look into it, they're gonna see, man, Charlie, he was doing it right, he said some shit, he got into some discussions, he got into some topics, into some corners, and he's, you know, I got some crazy ass quotes from Charlie. You know, you can find them. They're the first things everyone brought up when they should have just been saying rest in peace, I'm so sorry to the family. They bring up, you know, these crazy quotes. But you know, when the smoke clears, when the dust settles, the people who look into it, they're gonna be like, wow, Charlie. They're gonna be like, wow, rest in peace, Charlie. He wasn't racist. He wasn't transphobic. He wasn't homophobic. Just like preaching a good message. You know, it's not everyone's like Catholic or Christian, you know? It's like just trying to get you to think a bit different. Maybe if he can get you on some of these social issues, that you'll take a look at, you know, what he was preaching, which was limited government, being more conservative. I guess that was his own personal philosophy, you know, like, and he was even playing the game a little bit, guys. You got to be playing the game a little bit, because you know he's on the right. He had the young vote. That's why everyone wants him. That's why everyone was offering him money. That's why you know who offered him like 150 million, so that you can't criticize you know who's. You already know, I forgot what I said, but it happens. But what I'm getting at is not to take the tangents, just to give you the meat and potatoes, is that Charlie Kirk was a good man. He was taken out of context. He said some crazy things, and when people go back and listen to it, I think they're going to come to the realization, because that's another thing. Is tying it into, you know, the movement we kind of got going here is... it's legit, it's organic, and it's based on the truth. And so that's another thing, when you hear someone speaking the truth. Now, I'm trying to speak as close to the truth as I can, as close to the truth as I know how, but admitting that I'm biased, you know, I have biases. You know, admitting that, like, I'm not perfect, and I get things wrong. But when you hear people speak, and I think, like, you can tell if they're looking out for people. You can tell if they thought it out. You can tell. We got these bullshit meters, right? And that's why, what's that quote, you know? That one quote, you never remember what they say, you just remember how they made you feel, you know? It's like, you're not going to remember everything that the person said during your conversation. You're just going to remember if they made you feel comfortable, if, you know, if at any time you, like, cringed because they were so selfish, or whatever, right? Anything could happen. And I just feel like when I'm hearing people preach a message of, like, we got to get back to God, we got to get back to family, I'm sick of the TV trying to make me feel ashamed to be white, I'm sick of the TV trying to make me feel ashamed to be a man, we need to stop talking about skin color and gender and this and that. Yeah, I just get behind that. That's the truth to me, you know. That's the stuff that kind of rings true to me, you know. I'm kind of looking for that message, you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if I died right there? Yeah, check it out. Church. I built for Charlie Kirk because there's energy off of what happened to Charlie, because we're sick of everything coming down to skin color, we're sick of the identity politics, we're sick of the rhetoric getting dialed up to the point where people can get shot and you can have people laughing. We're sick of living in these kinds of conditions, you know, because it's like it's not what they say, it's how they make you feel. And when the politicians talk, they make it sound like they're your best friends, but the way it feels is like, it feels like this shit's being run by criminals. You know, and if it smells like a criminal, if it looks like a criminal, if it quacks like a criminal, it's probably a duck. I mean, no, they're probably criminals. So I just think people can feel something ain't right. You know, people can feel something's wrong. They're not sure exactly what. I'm not sure exactly what. I'm always on the path trying to find out what. But the only thing I know is that there's a lot of bullshit going on, and when someone like Charlie Kirk gets shot in the neck live on social media, it's a lot of soul searching that starts happening. You start looking around like, you know, what's going on? Where is the love? That kind of thing, right? What the frick is going on? And so I think what's going on is you're gonna see people stand up. Enough is enough. Cue the music. Remember, just a few days after poor Charlie Kirk got assassinated, Pierre Poilievre takes the stage, grabs the mic, and he says, can we reform this bill that the Liberals passed that they get from up top? He didn't say that, but that's where they get it from. That just lets people out. All these first world countries are just letting their criminals out, you know? America, just letting the criminals out. That's how you can get locked up 14 times and then still stab an innocent woman in the neck on a train or the bus or whatever. An actually perfect kind of example. I didn't watch the footage. I shut it off. I went as long as I could without seeing that footage, and it popped up on me one day. But I couldn't finish it. I just shut it off. But I was reading about it, and they were saying that she got stabbed, she's bleeding out. People are kind of looking at her. They weren't really, you know, she died pretty quick. I mean, holy, you get stabbed, taken out like that, but you could have, like, held her hand. You know, she would have been terrified in those moments. You seen that look on her face when she looks up like, what the did this guy just stab me? What the hell? So yeah, this shit's gotta stop. You know, enough is enough. Coddling the left and being like, yeah, he's Hitler, he's Hitler. And then someone grabs a gun like, hey guys, I killed Hitler. And then you actually have people being like, yeah. And it's like, no, guys, he wasn't Hitler. Okay? You guys are Looney Tunes. I'm not a fan of Trump, but he's like some stupid ass old guy as far as I'm concerned. He's probably committed a lot of crimes, and I don't appreciate all the you know whats that are running this shit. And yeah, he's a guy. Obama said he wasn't president, so he's egotistical as shit, so he ran for president. But the media's just, they tricked you all hook, line, and sinker, and everyone's just like got the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, for all these years. That's all people can talk about. And the media love that they could, like, use Trump for this many years, you know? It's like, after using the Arabs and the Muslims for however many years with the war on terror, right? And now what it's going to be, the Iran's got a nuke, so they want to take out Iran because they've taken out the other 6 countries. I mean, that's what we're sick of. We're sick of endless wars. We're sick of being distracted by all the identity politics, and it's about time we get some real representation. And I don't expect it to happen from the top down. It's going to happen from the bottom up. And this is a grassroots movement, and it starts people saying, because of Charlie Kirk, I said my first prayer to God. Because of Charlie Kirk, I went to church for the first time. Because of Mr. Kirk, I read the Bible. And get used to it. It ain't going anywhere. This is organic grassroots. It's got energy. It's real. It makes you feel something. That's why it's here. That's why it happened. And it's so unfortunate that it has to happen after Charlie Kirk loses his life. But we will not, you know, let him die in vain. And this ain't about picking teams. This is about being human. Where is the humanity? Where is the humility? Okay? So, this is the church so far. We got some food, some animals, you know, got to feed the people when they come. We got to get ready, because these churches are going to be filling up, alright? And it's not because you got to believe every word of the Bible, and it's not because you got to drink Jesus' body, or sorry, eat his body and drink his blood. It's almost like just saying, in the simplest way, we feel divided and isolated, and we want to come together, and we got to do it the only way we know how, which is getting together once a week, and we break bread, and we start building community, you know, the right way, helping people, talking to each other, not just letting these phones and these screens and all these drugs and we're just addicted to everything like overtake us, you know. So that's my message for today, I guess. That's a good ending to this video, and yeah guys, I'm trying to stay positive, so hopefully you are too. Stay safe out there, and catch you in the next one. Peace.